Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Arelis Talks TV. If you don't know me already, my name is Arelis and welcome to my channel. This is a channel where I like to talk about TV shows that I'm passionate about, video essays, and I have a lot of ideas for some new videos. So if you're interested, subscribe, and I hope you enjoy my new video. So this time around, we're talking about, you probably guessed it, Degrassi. But in this video essay, we're gonna tackle the topic of women who love too much, and how it's shown in the series. Women Who Love Too Much is a book by Robin Norwood, actually, a family and marriage therapist. Norwood analyzes the psychology of women who find themselves in toxic relationships like with men. These are men who are emotionally unavailable, avoidant, incompetent, or even physically abusive. She goes on to say that love is an addiction that many women struggle with. As a woman, it's in our nature to take on like a caregiving role, but these traits can oftentimes get taken advantage of by emotionally immature men. We become so obsessed with the idea of loving someone so much in hopes that the more love we give them by fixing or healing our partners, the more we get back. This is just sadly not the case, and oftentimes we're met with a toxic cycle of banking on a partner's potential instead of taking these situations for what they really are, which is emotional abuse. Watching Degrassi through that lens, a lot of the show's female characters suddenly make a lot of sense. Their patterns, who they fall for, what they tolerate, and how they define love echo like exactly what Norwood describes. So we're going to talk about that today. Let's get into it. In Chapter 1, Norwood discusses the story of Jill, a law student who enters a relationship with Randy, who is an emotionally unavailable man. Jill becomes anxious when Randy's attention fades. She takes responsibility for his emotions, and above all, persists even though the relationship is painful. Jill even goes on to say, "I guess I was never interesting enough. My husband never wanted to be around me. Neither did my father. What was it about me?" Oftentimes, this pattern is a continuation of childhood trauma. Women who grew up with parents who were emotionally inconsistent or addicted learn to chase love by fixing others. We can fear abandonment and will do anything it takes to keep a partner or prove love. And I think one of the most obvious examples of this is Ellie and Craig. Ellie's mother's alcoholism, alongside her father being on deployment, made her crave stability. She looks for this in Craig, who's still battling his own trauma and mental health. When they first start off their relationship, they lean on each other. Ellie becomes Craig's safe ground to talk about his bipolar disorder, and Craig vice versa with Ellie's self-harm. Because Craig could never fully admit his feelings to Ellie, he starts a relationship with Manny instead. And to Ellie's surprise, the connection she thought she and Craig shared had ran away. Along the way, Craig and Manny stay together, and Ellie even ends up getting a boyfriend. But Ellie still wants the unattainable, the emotionally unavailable Craig.
Is wrong on so many levels.
Now, you know what's really wrong? The fact that Craig keeps crapping on you and you keep going back for more.
He even causes her to fall into her pick-me era to defend him in every chance she gets, even when Craig is abusing drugs. Probably one of the most backstabbing moments is when Craig finally confesses his love to Ellie, something she had been waiting for many seasons, only to shortly realize he only said this to get some coke.
I love you, Ellie.
I love you too.
So don't make me stop. Please.
And this continues on with Ellie ignoring how emotionally unsafe the relationship actually is. In Degrassi Goes Hollywood, Craig takes her on an amazing date, flirts with Ellie, and gives her what Ellie thought was finally the love she deserved. After all this, Craig chooses to humble her and reveal that he actually has a girlfriend. But he did miss her though.
God, I missed you.
Craig? There you are.
Yvette, you're back. Ellie, this is Yvette, my girlfriend. thought she was just in Maui for a modeling shoot.
Ellie's constant running back to Craig after multiple signs of him not caring is a classic example of loving too much. Because of Ellie's upbringing, it is possible that his emotional unavailability was actually desired and not out of the ordinary to her. Even after all this, they have a boring-ass kiss, hinting at the idea that they might try it again. You also see shades of this in Allie and Johnny. Allie mistakes Johnny's detached, edgy personality for mystery and depth. She constantly works to prove she's mature enough or cool enough for him, even though he rarely meets her halfway.
Why aren't you eating with your friends?
Because I'm eating with my boyfriend, silly. You must try this. Hold on a sec.
Easy, woman.
In both cases, love is about chasing, not connecting. Allie's parental background is interesting to think about when you look at her romantic partners. They are strict Muslim parents that want their daughter to stay away from boys and work hard in school. This oftentimes comes off as cold to Allie, and as the saying goes, strict parents create sneaky children. Allie's parents were not the worst in Degrassi. They definitely cared and loved Allie, unlike in Ellie's case. Allie's parents lacked having honest conversations with her regarding safe sex and making good decisions in her relationships. This directly caused her to fall into her first real relationship with Johnny, someone who loved her behind closed doors and treated her as less than around school. What should have been a deal breaker when Johnny sent her nudes around the school turned into something to brush under the rug when Allie learned that Johnny still loved her. And these are the actions that get excused when we love too much.
I'm stupid. You're the one sending naked photos of yourself to this loser. Maybe I should show the Allie I see.
These two are classic loving too much dynamics. Anxiety mistaken for chemistry, caretaking mistaken for closeness, and pain mistaken for passion. In this chapter, Norwood examines the idea of using sex as a means to keep a relationship. Now, considering this is a high school TV show, it's really not that surprising that many of the women feel like sex is a key to keeping a relationship. While intimacy is important, the difference here is that sex becomes compensation for emotional emptiness. Norwood suggests that these women often view sex as a route to love rather than part of a healthy relationship. Relationships with Craig are probably the easiest to dive into because he was the king of emotional unavailability. In this case, let's look at Manny and Craig. Manny knew that there was something that she could give Craig that his current girlfriend Ashley couldn't. That was sex, passion, if you will.
What?
And if Ash doesn't see that, then she doesn't deserve you.
Craig continues to think he can have his cake and eat it too, as he never brings up any issues to Ashley and continues to lead Manny on. This is Norwood's writing to a T. Manny hopes that the more that they have sex, or the more that he sees her in a certain light, he will change.
You were supposed to talk to her. And did you talk to her? Okay.
If she just gives more, he'll change, break up with Ashley, make her his girlfriend, and change. We can also see this same trope in some of the pregnancy storylines. Anya uses sex in hopes that it will be the catalyst for Sav to finally tell his parents about her. They have sex, but of course this does not fix the deeper issue. After being broken up for some time, Anya uses a pregnancy scare as a means to get him back. When he starts to talk about getting married since she's pregnant now, she thinks that her plan finally worked.
Parents' little arrangement. Well, that's not gonna work for me.
Sav, you'll tell them?
On the contrary, since the pregnancy was a lie, it did not do what she expected it would, and after, Sav surprisingly still stayed. Although this brought out some loyalty from Sav, he still would not stand up for Anya in front of his parents, which was the root of all their issues.
Sabotage. What is Anya doing here?
Mom, hi. Truth is, Anya needed my French notes, and we came back here to get them. And she was just leaving, right?
Anya hoped that by raising the stakes, he'd finally commit. But as Norwood would say, these gestures are rooted in fear, not love. Anya isn't asking, is this relationship healthy? She's asking, what can I do to keep him? What Norwood helps us see is that this kind of dynamic isn't really about sex itself at all. It's about power, validation, and the desperate attempt to feel secure when deep down, the relationship was never secure to begin with. This chapter focuses on the belief that the more we suffer, the more someone loves us. They may stay in a relationship despite neglect or uncertainty because they are clinging to the hope that their sacrifice will win the partner over or prove the relationship is strong. In Claire and Eli, I think this topic was really romanticized by the show and by viewers. We saw Eli as this deep emo boy soul that was misunderstood because of his mental health. Although Eli did get on the road to control his BPD, he did put Claire through a lot, and Claire thought that being in a relationship with him meant that she had to put up with that. Claire helps Eli manage his manic episodes, defending him when others worry. Eli crashes his car after Claire breaks up with him, leaving her guilt-ridden. So much guilt that they continue the relationship back again after. I think it's pretty ironic when Eli and Claire get paired up to be writing partners, and the teacher is like, they have a very special partnership here, like Sylvia Plath and Ted Hughes, and Claire is like rolling her eyes because
Sylvia Plath killed herself.
But although that same fate doesn't happen to Claire, like this just kind of foreshadows Claire was really put through hell in this relationship.
It's called Love Roulette, a tale of a high school romance gone wrong. The heroes betrayed at the school dance by a manipulative lover who's become obsessed with a religious psycho. Sound familiar?
Because of Eli's emo personality, I think he romanticizes the struggles and trauma that they've been through, or what he put her through, per se. And in the end, he says he knew that they were meant to be because of it.
It took you a year! A year to get over your ex! Did you ever love me at all?
And scene.
Another interesting example of this is Maya and Miles. Because of Maya's past traumas with Cam, she took a liking to trying to fix Miles. Despite him being so rude to her all the time, calling her a slut, yelling at her in front of the party, Maya knew that his feelings, though, weren't a reflection of herself, but more so mirrored Miles' own devils that he was dealing with, this being the abuse from his father. If you guys have watched my last video, you know that I hate what Miles did to Maya, Exhibit A through Z, dragging her into the countless felonies that he committed. But eventually and thankfully, Maya learned that you really can't help everyone. Unlike Claire, Maya actually breaks the cycle. When Miles' hostility starts to mirror her past trauma with Cam, she recognizes that love shouldn't come with fear. Even saying after they break up,
I can't be with the guy who scares me. Not again.
You just need to think it. Just go.
Norwood calls this the moment of awakening, when a woman realizes that leaving isn't failure, it's self-preservation. Women who love too much often have a strong caregiver identity or need to feel needed. They derive value from being the fixer or rescuer of their partner. This often ties with like older sister syndrome, where usually the older sister is treated like a third or substitute parent to the family. She might take care of her younger sisters while her mom is at work, or become a confidant to her father in an unhappy marriage, or even ask to take on a job to help with the rent. The lines between parent and children roles become so blurred that we learn to take care of everyone but ourselves. For this section, we're going to talk about Ellie and Sean, and as mentioned earlier, her parents were borderline non-existent in her life. In detention, Ellie and Sean bond for the first time. She immediately recognizes his pain as he is also a child of abandonment and trauma. She even says, "I get it, you don't want anyone to see what's going on inside." This moment plants the seed of their dynamic. Ellie sees herself as the only one who truly understands him. This relationship becomes even more codependent when they move in together. She becomes his emotional and domestic caretaker.
He's different, I think.
Guys suck, Ashley.
They enjoy messing with our feelings and then sticking us with the rent. Just don't come crying to me when he crags out on you.
Because they are both suffering, they both need each other to get the stability they've been craving their whole lives. Eventually, when Sean decides to go back to Wasaga Beach after the school shooting, Ellie tries to convince him to stay.
I told them everything.
Let's get you out of here.
Ellie, look, I don't know how...
You're staying, aren't you? Sean, please. I love you.
I love you too. But, Ellie...
Well, when are you coming back?
Ellie's fear of not being needed outweighs whether the relationship was worth continuing. I also see some of this theme with many of Allie's relationships. Because Allie longs for popularity and to have the ultimate high school romance, she finds herself with men who are, for lack of better wording, too stupid for her. Allie is the beauty and the brains, and pursues a relationship with new student Drew Torres, the cute football star. I think this story is a lot less dramatic, but we can still see Allie's repetition in trying to be there for Drew. Allie is immediately intrigued by Drew's confidence and charm, but their dynamic becomes strained when she realizes he's really not that smart. She starts tutoring him in school, and even goes as far as writing an essay for him. Now, no one's saying that you can't help your partners, but it's unhealthy for one to think that writing a whole paper for your boyfriend is some sort of act of love.
You're writing it for him?
Not exactly. I'm just coming up with a thesis and offering supporting arguments.
So you're writing it.
Okay, fine, but it's for a good cause. I mean, if Drew gets a good mark, then maybe his mom will let him go to the dance.
What if Perino finds out?
How would he? It's a Drew Torres original.
I guess it's worth it.
Well, you'd help your boyfriend, right?
Yeah.
Put it on Perino's desk. Drew's surprised and happy, and you and I can plan dance outfits.
Again, not as dramatic, but Allie's reaction towards Drew cheating in that she blamed the girl instead of her own boyfriend really goes to show how much she wanted Drew to choose her. Women who love too much are addicted to the role of rescuer and fixer, and when the rescue ends, really, so does the romance. A tale as old as time, of course we're talking about Beauty and the Beast. The iconic fairy tale where Belle, a beautiful, young, and intelligent woman, meets the Beast, a frightening and arrogant monster put under a spell. To save her dad from the Beast, she lives with him. And throughout the story, they get to know each other, blah blah blah, they fall in love, and he is turned into a handsome prince. Norwood writes that this classic fairy tale is what many women envision their relationships to be. With my love, I can turn him into a better man. He has so much potential, but he needs someone to bring it out of him. And even further, it is our duty as women to do so.
Because right or wrong, you need help. And I'm gonna help you, Sean.
Emma and Sean are the perfect example of the couple where there's the bad boy and the good girl who wants to make him better. I would say that this is probably one of the less toxic relationships I'm talking about today, but I still think that there's some connections we can make to this fairy tale. Now, Emma has grown up being her mother's confidant. As a result of teen pregnancy, Emma's relationship with Spike was more best friend-like than mother-daughter, and this caused her to be a fixer in a lot of the relationships she was in. One of their first interactions is an example of Emma's need to fix or save. Sean gets into a fight with Jimmy at a school dance, and right before the principal comes along, Emma swoops in to ask Sean to dance, saving him from getting his ass beat by Jimmy and getting in trouble. Throughout the seasons, Emma sees Sean as a project and believes that underneath all the troublemaking and anger, he's just a good kid who needs someone to believe in him. There's this back and forth between Emma trying to make Sean care about environmental issues in an attempt to sway him away from the things that make him a troubled teen. At the end of the day, what Sean was dealing with in his own head was too dark and complicated for Emma to be able to fix.
Don't give up on me. Please.
I can't be perfect, Sean. I can't be everything you need all the time.
Good. I want you to challenge me. I want you to call me on my crap.
Sure. But if we're gonna have a real relationship, you need to save yourself from yourself sometimes.
Yet, anytime he was in a rough spot, Emma felt the need to be there for him. This is Emma's identity, the fixer and helper. When met with Sean's chaos, it gives her a new project to unleash her qualities. Norwood explores in this chapter how relationship addiction sometimes coexists with other addictions. Substance abuse, eating disorders, compulsive behaviors, etc. She tells the story of Brenda, a woman who struggled with anorexia. Brenda, just like her mother, suffered from a compulsive eating disorder. Growing up, she learned that there was no room for pain, fear, loneliness, or honesty, and there was no room for the truth about herself or her life. And then she married her husband, who took part in mob activities and was dark and mysterious. Brenda was used to secrets, and the two of them connected in their deception to hide to the rest of the public what they really were.
The only guy I care about.
You sure?
I'm positive. You make me so happy. Happier than I've ever been.
You make me happy too, lady.
I think this trope is a lot less common in Degrassi since this is a high school show, but probably the most similar, although short-lived, was Terry and Rick. In the early seasons, Terry is in a constant battle with her weight. Many of her friends were all in relationships and deemed desirable by most of the school. So when Rick begins his secret admirer obsession with Terry, she thought it was a dream come true. Not long into them being together, Rick becomes jealous easily and grabs her arm, giving her a bruise. With Terry's self-love struggles, she doesn't want others to think the one relationship she gets in is toxic, so she lies about the bruises. We later see some instances of Rick controlling Terry's eating.
Oh, I don't know, what about a burger?
Why not a salad? You said yesterday you're craving one.
What kind should I order?
Go for garden. Light dressing. Healthiest choice in the menu.
You're always looking out for me.
After multiple examples of abuse, Terry still wants her friends to see the best in Rick like she does and invites him to a weekend trip with all their friends. This is an example of trying to frame the relationship to the public as a certain way instead of what it really is. Sadly, during this trip, Rick pushes Terry and causes her to go into a coma. It is really important that when dealing with situations like this, your own recovery has to come first. This is not at all to say that Terry caused or deserved her fate, but more so if she worked on herself, she might have found out quicker that she deserved more than what she had with Rick. Norwood describes dying for love as the final stage of loving too much. This chapter emphasizes how deep the pain can get. When loving too much causes a woman to lose themselves in these relationships and when self-worth is tied to him. When hope is all that remains, sometimes there are suicidal thoughts, depression, and despair. And losing him might feel like losing your life altogether.
You're just acting really weird. It's weird that I don't want my boyfriend to abandon me. That's not gonna happen. You don't know that.
These women often resort to self-destructive behaviors, emotional manipulation, or even self-harm to avoid being left. One of the more recent examples of this in Degrassi is Esme and Zig. Some backstory on Esme: she's dealing with not only the death of her mother, but also seeing Maya's suicide attempt and her own struggle with BPD. Throughout the season, Esme is dealing with a lot of demons that she masks with her fun, adventurous, and flirty personality. When she starts a relationship with Zig, she gets attached quickly. When she becomes jealous about Zig's relationship with Maya, the arguments turn into loud outbursts in front of the whole school. And she constantly switches between seduction and rage in a matter of seconds. In the episode Unsubscribe, Esme threatens to harm herself with a knife at Zig's prom when she sees him dancing with Maya. I think this is one of the deepest and darkest scenes of dependency on the show. Esme deals with a lot of unresolved trauma that leads her to pursue this relationship with Zig, where she feels like her whole life will end after they break up.
You bought a motorcycle?
It's a graduation gift. Look, I know things got a little intense last night.
with you.
I know. Your friends are trying to tear us apart. Why do you keep poking holes in my plans? I'm trying to fix them. Why don't you see that?
Damn, someone's gonna hear you.
Oh, so now I'm embarrassing you.
Esme's story is painful because she's not evil, she's terrified. She believes love is the only thing standing between her and collapse. Norwood would say she's dying for love, not because of Zig, but because she never learned to love herself. When we look at Degrassi through the lens of women who love too much, what we really see isn't just teenage drama. This show is a mirror of how early pain, family dynamics, and self-worth shape the way we love. Norwood's book reminds us that when our relationships become about fixing or saving, it's a sign that what we're experiencing isn't love, but survival. Emma believing her goodness could change Sean, Manny hoping sex would make Craig choose her, or Esme spiraling when Zig couldn't give her the validation she needed, are all examples of what Norwood calls loving from fear. Fear of being abandoned, fear of being unworthy, and fear of being unlovable. And that's what makes Degrassi so timeless. It's not just about breakups and makeups or the highs and lows of high school football. It shows how pain can repeat itself until we decide to stop choosing people who worsen our wounds. So maybe the question isn't, why do these girls love so much? But what did they need that they never got? Once you start the journey to answering that question and healing those wounds, love stops being about rescue and starts being about connection. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching my new YouTube video. It really means a lot to me seeing everybody comment and like. I want to know your guys' opinion. Are there any ones that you agreed with or any other couples that you would categorize in the many different types of women who love too much categories? Anyways, again, if you like this video, go ahead, like and subscribe, and hope to come out with some new stuff for you guys. So, bye!